And I think while we're waiting to begin, I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll. So.
Also, I see a couple of people asking in the chat, we are recording this event only for the purposes of, we place it on YouTube. We record all of our events. You will not be viewed on there. It's not like you're going to see your picture. We're not going to ask you to unmute or anything like that, but we do record all of our events just for, posterity and for tracking and things like that.
Thank you, Steph. I just noticed the record button was hit. I was just going for that one. I was just going for that one. Okay, so we're going to launch. Welcome everybody to the registration demonstration workshop. I think that most of you are here because you are likely navigating the registration process for the first time and are possibly a little overwhelmed by it. We'll find out by the poll. But we are here to help you through that process through a step guide. We have the Advisement Center and the Registrar's office.
So that's my excuse. Oh, well.
Debbie, sorry, unmute you. Sorry, I had to hit everybody else to mute.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to start for real. We didn't hear anything I just said, right?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I was just really just talking to myself.
Sorry, that was my bad. And I did that in the last presentation too.
A year of Zoom and I still don't know how to unmute myself. Welcome everybody to the registration demonstration workshop. We're going to start out with a poll to get things started. So the poll is, which of the following best describes how you feel about the upcoming registration, which is next week, by the way, for most of you. So we're going to give that a minute or two while we're still letting people into the room. So you might feel confident, you might feel clueless, you might feel chill about it, like kind of ready. You might be crazed about the registration process. You might be concerned. You might be crying, or you might be owning this and you feel like you can coach it and that you could be hired as an advisor. So we have about 62 people who answered so far. Do we have any other takers on the poll? Okay, I'm going to give it, yeah, we still have more people answering the poll.
A couple more people that are just coming in too.
Yeah, I see that. Nice. Welcome everybody. If you're just entering now, we have a poll going. Which of the following best describes how you feel about the upcoming registration? So feel free to partake in that poll. Okay, I think at this point I'm going to end the polling because I want to leave plenty of time for us to go through the materials and to have lots of time for Q&A at the end. I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions. So let's see what we said. So the winner was chill. And I'm glad that you all still know that word. I felt like it was a very Generation X word, and most of you are Gen Z. I have a millennial advisor with me today, Steph Karan. But it sounds like that word has lasted through the decades. So most of you feel pretty chill or kind of in the middle about the registration process. There's a few of you who are confident. That's great to hear. Some are clueless, but that's why we're here. Your advisors are here to help you, and that's why we're having this workshop today to help you navigate it. Someone feels crazed. Unfortunately, a couple of you are crying, and many of you are just flat concerned. However, no one's taking our job, so that's good. So we're still needed at the university as academic advisors. That's great stuff to hear. So many of you are joining us today because I suspect that you're getting ready to navigate the registration process for the first time next week, and you want to make sure that you rightfully get it correct and that you have the best possible schedule as you enter your next year of college. So we're going to help you through a step-by-step process with that and show you exactly the best way to register and some tips and tricks along the way. So first, we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm going to close this poll out. So my name is Deborah Kane Sheffield. I'm one of the advisors of the Gloria S. Williams Advisement Center. Some of you had me as an advisor as a willpower professor. There are 15 of us advisors now at the Gloria S. Williams Advisement Center, and I am joined by two colleagues.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Coran. I'm also one of the advisors. I'm the millennial, and I still use the word chill. And I'm excited to have all you here. Some of you, I see some familiar faces in the chat. I'm glad I see some people returning from on Tuesday's event. So I'm glad you're back if you have more questions. Some people in the classes, so welcome. I hope that after today, everybody's feeling confident. Maybe you want to steal our jobs, but we're going to definitely give you some great information.
Hi guys, my name's Emily Plasko. I'm from the Registrar's office. I'm one of the degree evaluators. There's 3 of us in the office. And a big part of my job is, first of all, registering our freshmen. And so your schedules, our office did build those schedules, and maybe you corresponded with us somewhere along the way. The other part of my job is making sure that you're taking all of the right courses to get to graduation in 4 years. We're located in Morrison Hall, and you can just pop in if you have questions. We're here to help with any kind of registration roadblocks. And I'm at the end of this little info session, I'm going to be doing a demonstration to show you exactly what it looks like when you're going to go in and register.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Stephanie. So be assured that you will be receiving this information via email after the workshop. If you're logging in as something like iPhone, or if it's just your first name, it might be harder for us to locate your email address when we do the attendance report. I know some of you are getting credit for your classes, so you might want to make sure that you change your screen name to help us with that. Also, it's really helpful when you're learning technology and learning to navigate different screens and websites for you to have a second screen open. If you're on a laptop, it would be helpful for you to have another window open on WP Connect so you can perhaps follow along with us. So all this information, as well as the recording of the workshop, is going to be shared for you. And through this workshop, we're going to be going through 6 steps of the registration process. I know that sounds overwhelming, but we're going to break it up for you. And really, registration, once you do it once or twice, it's just like riding a bike. Okay, it's going to be easy. You're going to be doing it for the next several semesters up until you graduate, and you're going to become better and better at it every semester. So you learn something the first time, and then once you have it, and you know how to do it. So I'm going to kind of give you an overview of the 6-step worksheet that we're going to go through, and then we're all going to take different steps, present them to you, and then at the end, we're going to leave plenty of time for Q&A. If there's a question you think of while we're going through it, you might want to type it in the chat just so we get to it at any point, but we might not answer that question until towards the end, just so you know. So this is the worksheet that let me find it in here. Here it is. Okay, so we're going off of this worksheet. It's called Registration Demonstration Worksheet. And we are suggesting that you follow this 6-step path to a satisfying schedule. However, your steps might be in a different order. That's fine. Of course, the last step is going to be the actual registration. So there's 6 steps, and as you see, we'll get this email to you, and there's a lot of hyperlinks on here to help you with to connect you with videos and steps and how-tos in different parts of the WP Connect website. So we're going to be taking the time to go through these 6 steps. And if you're still stuck at the end, we have even further information for you through the Registrar's website. So you'll be well taken care of by the end of this workshop. So I'm going to hand it over to Steph, who's going to start with step 1. And step 1 would be to arrange a meeting with your academic advisor in the weeks prior to registration. At this point, we have 1 week prior to registration for most of you. And so Steph, take it away.
All right, can you stop sharing your screen though?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so as Deborah stops sharing her screen, I am going to share my screen with you and start with, of course, I try to share my screen and it doesn't come up, but I'm going to go over with you how to look up your advisor and how to make an appointment with your advisor. So if everybody can see that, I'm on the main screen of the WP Connect portal. And I'm on the student tab. All of you will have, this will look slightly different for you, but you all have a student tab here. And first place you can look if you want to find out who your advisor is, hopefully you know who your advisor is at this point, because either they're your facilitator for Willpower, or you've met with them a couple of times or at least one time. But if you don't know who it is, it would be under My Degree, and you'd be able to click DegreeWorks. And I'm sure you've all been familiar with DegreeWorks in your class. It would actually tell you who your advisor is right there. Another way for you to find out who your advisor is and also schedule an appointment with them is to scroll down to, I'm sorry, I scrolled right past it, is to scroll down in my degree and go to Student Starfish Success. So when you click on Student Starfish Success, you're going to have a dashboard. And in that dashboard, it will show you your connections, and your connections will be various people in various departments. So it'll be your facilitator, it will be your professors in your classes, if you have a relationship with somebody else in the department that you're working with, but it will always have your academic advisor there, and it will be listed with a picture of them if you're not sure what their name is, but you have a, you know what they look like, but also your facilitator, and they may be the same person or they may be different. So when you want to schedule an appointment with them, you'll schedule through Starfish. You'll be able to click on that link and it will give you availability of their appointments. There's a couple things to remember when you're making an appointment with your advisor. Different advisors have different ways of making appointments. I know many of us in the office, you can always go to Starfish no matter what to make an appointment, but many of us in the signature portion of our emails have a direct link to our mailbox to a Starfish calendar. So you usually can always find a way. Some professors put it in their syllabus, but 9 times out of 10, you can find it in Starfish. You would click on that link and it shows you all the availability. It will give you a reminder you have an appointment. And the really nice thing about it is if you need to cancel or adjust, you can cancel and adjust through there. You don't have to play kind of phone tag or email with us in order to make an appointment. But the only thing to remember is try to make an appointment early, see your advisor early and often. Some advisors, I want to say professor again, like last time, some advisors will have a cutoff point. So I like to cut off my appointments by 6 o'clock the night before, only taking emergencies during the day otherwise, so that I can prepare for you. The last thing you want is to schedule an appointment and then your advisor's not prepared to speak with you or meet with you. So definitely, if you think you want to have an appointment the following day, try to make it earlier in the day, the previous day, so that you get on the schedule. But some advisors don't have that, so you might get lucky. And then some advisors have walk-ins. The one caveat I want to speak about is I know some people in this presentation may have a nursing advisor or a music advisor, or you're in a particular major where you don't have an academic advisor in the advisement center. That's okay too. You have a faculty advisor. They may do something different. They may have Starfish. In fact, they do have Starfish, but they may request something different. They may request you to email them or call them directly to set that up. So if you do have a different advisor, just something to think about right there. But definitely, if you're not familiar with Starfish, play around with it. And the reason you want to see your advisor is we're going to help you through this process. We're going to walk you through the process of what you need to do for registration, how to do it, your day and time. And I'm not sure, Debbie, did you want me to bring up the registration timetable right now just to give people an idea, or do you want me to wait?
It is up to you.
You're
on it, you could show it to them now.
I will show it then.
It could be step 1 for whatever.
Yeah, step 1. So Debbie's the boss. I listen to whatever Debbie says. So this is the registration timetable. So this is actually another tool that you can use to find out when you really should be talking to your advisor. And your advisor will bring this up to you. I know I have sent this to my advisees, and you can find this simply by typing into the search registration timetable. Registration is based on how many credits you've earned. So really important thing, everybody panics because they're like, I've earned more than 10 credits or more than 12 credits. Earned means how many you've already received a grade on. So you can do that in 2 ways. You can check out your evaluation, or you can go to your unofficial transcript and check that out too, but it's based on earned. So most people who are visiting us today for this presentation are going to register on the 15th or 16th based on the fact that they've probably earned anywhere between 12 and 15 credits. And you want to make sure that you are ready for that. It's usually at 12:01 a.m. on registration date, but your advisor will give you all that information. So I cannot stress you enough, visit us early, visit us often, and you don't just have to have 2 appointments. If you need to speak to us and you have more concerns, please come and visit us as often as you would like. We're very friendly. We like seeing people.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I'm a little bit, I was having some problems with my Wi-Fi, so I couldn't get here until it was 12:45. I clicked on it. Is that okay? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm so sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
It's literally just Wi-Fi over here. It's literally irritating. I'm sorry.
No, it's recorded. So we'll send you the recording too, if anything you missed.
Okay. And I'm so sorry for my other question, as you're literally going to be like, why are you asking that?
Don't worry.
I felt it was, when I was reading about it, I just felt it was fairly confusing on how to pick our classes. Are you like, is this like are you trying to focus more on explaining to us like a more generalized way to do things ourselves? Or is this like a more like, are you offering like actual, like, are you actually like, is this like, is it more one-on-one or more like general?
So this today will give you a basic rundown of how to actually register once you've talked to your advisor. We'll give you some basic information about where to look, but you should be speaking directly with your advisor, your specific advisor. If you have questions about like, what am I looking at exactly, or you're confused about what you need. And also if you want to reach out to us after, we'll put our emails in here too, and you can reach out to us and we can kind of assist you too.
I'm so sorry
No,
for
you're
this one.
fine.
We know we
Right.
have a lot of burning questions and we have a very active chat. So if you have
How
to re-
long do we actually have to register for these classes? Because that's like I know so everyone probably knows this, but I actually do not know that how long we have to do this.
So we're definitely going to address that today. So if you want to just hang on, we're going to get to a presentation a little bit with Emily from the registrar's office. We're going to go over all that stuff. I will promise you by the
That's
end of it,
absolutely
she'll have all
fantastic.
your questions answered.
we're
I'm
gonna
sorry, I'm
answer
sorry for
questions at the
interrupting.
end of the presentation. But for now, can you please type the questions in the chat and we'll present the information, and
Yeah.
probably a lot of your questions will be answered as we go through the presentation.
Yeah.
And then we'll definitely answer all your questions at the end, we promise.
No, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Okay.
No problem. So I am actually going to unshare my screen to let Debbie share. But right now, as Debbie's presenting too, I will go through all the questions in the chat and try to answer them. And if it's anything that I think anybody else would be able to answer better than me, like the pros here, I will put it out to the group.
Thank you, Steph. So we went through step one, and hopefully by this point you have already had your meeting with your academic advisor. If you haven't, you need to get on that appointment really soon, because the first day to register for most of you is next Thursday or Friday. So I'm going to go over step 2 and 3 right now. Step 2 is to review your advisement notes and your alternate PIN number for the meeting. This is extremely important for you to follow the notes that were written from your advisor after you have met with your advisor. We are very thorough in the Advisement Center, and we keep very careful records of what we asked you to take, and also what we ask you to take in terms of classes for the next semester, for the summer, for the fall. It's very intentional, and we do it with the idea that each of your departments, your academic major, has put together a 4-year plan, and we're making sure that we follow that very closely, because we want to make every effort for you to graduate in 4 years. It's cost effective, it's time effective. The perfect time to graduate college is exactly 4 years or 8 semesters. So we want to make sure you are on track with that, but you also have to help us out. And when we guide you on what classes to take for the following semester, we need you to really heed those notes. And so please make sure that you take the time to review the advisement notes and to follow that guidance when you are registering for classes. So the notes can be found in multiple locations depending on your advisor. Some advisors have it up to 3 locations. Some of them most advisors will email you after the appointment with a template and a list of courses and recommendations with that 6-digit PIN number, which changes every semester, called the alternate PIN number, that you need to register on the first day that you can register. So there's the email, and then most will also post it on Starfish, but all advisors will post it on your degree evaluation. And so this is step 3. So it's really step 2 and 3 kind of happen at the same time, because you're going to view your advisement notes on your degree evaluation. And then on that screen, you're also going to view how to pick classes as well. So if you are on I realize that you're seeing all my screens, so you can't see the toolbar. So if you go to the student tab of WP Connect under my degree, no, I'm not a senior. This is incorrect. It just looks like that. Trust me, I've been with the university for 15 years. So if you go under my degree and you click on Degree Works, you get to this screen. And here we have one of our star students named Test Student. No, it's a fake student, it's a hypothetical student, right? So this example of a student is a management major, okay? And so you all have a degree evaluation. Is this where you register? No, it is not. Is this the most useful planning tool for all your years?
No, I thought you guys let me.
Yeah.
I
And
was
we
like,
just
how did
asked-
Shannon use my phone?
Okay. We've muted. We're just going to go ahead and mute anybody who's unmuted just so I can hear myself. So your degree evaluation is going to have some basic information for you at the top. The only thing that the advisors have that you don't have is you're not going to be able to see your PIN number until your advisor gives it to you. So your degree evaluation looks just like this, except for you don't see the alternate PIN number because your advisor needs to give that to you. So we're on step 2, and step 2 is to review your advisement notes. Lucky for test student has made an appointment with me, supposedly, right, hypothetically, and I put a note in for test student already. So the notes will include some things on the to-do list that you need to work on. For example, I put that this student needs to take their language placement test because most sophomores are going to take a language. You actually should have gotten an email in February from Linda Refslin asking you to take a language survey to let her know what language you are interested in taking when you are, or if you're bilingual and might be exempt from a language. There was also a language placement test email that would have arrived to your inbox after that. So if you're unsure what I'm talking about, please check your email about that and also ask your advisor. Regardless, your notes are also going to contain your PIN number. And so the PIN number is a 6-digit unique code to you that changes every semester. And also there would be a different PIN number for summer than fall. Hypothetically, the test student is only registering for fall. And so I put their PIN number in, the date that they register, and then I advise them to take 16 credits. Now, some of the classes I was very specific about. So this student being a management major, I said macroeconomics, business math, which is Math 1170, Principles of Management, which is Management 2000. But I also put UCC historical perspectives and UCC scientific perspectives. So this is where you need a really thorough understanding of what the university core requirements are, because your advisor may not necessarily say, take environmental sustainability for your science. They may simply say, take a class that meets the category of UCC something. So there's UCC classes, which stands for University Core Curriculum. Many of the classes in these categories, if you are a freshman, have been prepackaged for you this year. So for example, this student took communication action for their arts and communication requirement and college writing for their writing requirement. I advise the student to take, for example, a UCC historical perspectives class. And so to find out what are the options, because now without prepackaged schedules, the students, if you're going into your sophomore year now, you'll have options. So if you click here where it says attribute, a pop-up window appears and it shows a list of classes that could satisfy the category of UCC historical perspectives. And then you can read about what the descriptions are and see when the classes are offered. So this is a very good way of planning your schedule, reading about classes and deciding, do I want to take the modern world? Do I want to take the early modern world? And also, are there any prerequisites that I should know about that would not enable me to take a specific class in that category? A good example of that is I advise a student to take a science class, scientific perspectives. Here, I'll click on attribute. And while most classes have no prerequisites, if there is a class with a prerequisite, it will be noted in the description. For example, here, so a management student typically would not take general A&P1 because it has a prerequisite being in certain majors like nursing and physical education. And so these are some of the reasons that you need to familiarize yourself with your degree evaluation. In some classes, for some majors, the classes are predetermined for you. For example, as a management major, one of your 2 social and behavioral sciences, or for test student anyway, needs to be macroeconomics. There are hyperlinks to pretty much everything on your degree evaluation. So everywhere, for some reason that's not coming up, but everywhere when you click on a course should come up with a description. And if you scroll down, your degree evaluation will reflect your major, and it'll also reflect UCCs, and if you have any minors. And so if you don't have a major, if you're just undeclared, you'll just have UCCs for now, but I'll show you how to do what's called a what if analysis to help you to explore different majors and minors. And so these are all the classes in the management major, and everything, you can click on them all and read the descriptions. There's other useful components of the degree evaluation that you might want to explore. For example, the what if analysis. So if you've been in willpower this year, You may have watched the webinars in which actually I was talking about looking at how you're going to fill your fishbowl, your 120 credits. And we talked about minors in that. And so a lot of students are going to pick up a minor and some even a second major. So clicking on what if on your degree evaluation, I'm going to make it a more current semester here. It defaulted back. And then I'm going to see, hey, what if I wanted to be an English literature minor? What would that look like? So I'm going to click that and I'm going to click process what if. And now I did not declare this student as an English lit minor. However, the degree evaluation is now going to update. And again, if you have a second tab open, this is where it's helpful for you to follow along by actually clicking on these things on your own degree evaluation. This is, for example, one of the minors we have English literature and what classes would be needed for that minor. And what's great about this is if there's a class you've already taken that would double count here, like you've taken a UCC class in diversity and justice, that's an English class, it might automatically fill in here to show you, hey, I'm not even this minor yet, and I've already completed some of the requirements for it. And so that's the very useful what if analysis on your degree works evaluation. And so as you're preparing for the weeks leading up to registration, it's a really good idea to understand what the UCC classes are, what your major is, and what your minor is. Do we have anything in the chat about degree works right now? Because I might be able to answer a question or two about that.
They're just asking, like, how do you know what classes you would use? And I was explaining that degree works is what your advisor would use to advise you. And student is asking, if you don't see an advisor listed, who would you contact? And I'm going to tell everybody, as I'm typing it in the chat, you would just contact the academic office, the academic advisement office, and we would be able to put you in contact with one of the 15 of the advisors here.
Yes, and on your degree works evaluation, you should be able to see your advisor listed right where it says advisor. So there's other areas of the degree evaluation that are helpful as well, but in terms of registration and preparing for it, I'm just going to go over those. But as I talked about declaring a minor, if you were interested in doing that, it would be back in the student tab of WP Connect under my degree, and it's add a minor, or if you even want to add a second major, you could do so here. Keep in mind, everybody, you need 120 credits to graduate. Your degree evaluation likely doesn't reflect all 120 credits. It only reflects what you are declared in right now. So everybody has UCC courses they have to take. It's automatically populated. That's about 40 credits of your degree. Most of you have a major already. That's between 30 and 60 credits, unless you're art or music, which is a little bit longer. But this doesn't reflect all 120 credits. And so some of you may be doing electives for that, but many of you will also do a minor as part of those last 20, 30, even 40 credits before you graduate. So that's the degree evaluation, and that's step 2. One last thing I didn't mention on here is that if you do have registration holds, one of several locations where you can see if you have a hold, it could be a financial hold, it could be a hold for submitting immunization documents. It does prevent you from registering, so you do have to take care of that before you register. You should see it here. Most of you don't see freshman holds anymore. You may have remembered seeing that a couple weeks ago. That's just an automatic hold that gets put on all freshman accounts, and it has been, I believe, removed about a week ago. So you shouldn't see that, but if you do see another hold there, please contact your advisor so they can explain what that's about. So now that was step 3, and if I can go over back to the worksheet, we familiarized ourselves with our degree evaluation. We already talked about registration dates, so that could be anywhere from steps 1 through 4, whenever you have time for it. And now we're going to do step 5, which gets us closer to the actual registration screen. So I'm going to hand that back over to Steph to talk about step 5.
Just real quick, Debbie, before you hand it back over, we did have a question in the chat. Somebody was asking how they would know which science to pick. Can you just show them that link potentially again?
Sure.
So for some students, you don't have a choice on what science you need to pick based on your major, but for other students, they do. So you kind of have two options. You definitely want to talk it over with your academic advisor because they may be able to suggest to you a good science that would be a good fit for you based on just certain things like what if you like a chemistry, if you like bio, if you like something more hands-on. But if you, but Debbie's going to also show you where you can see those options.
So it would be, I'm not on the screen share where you see the pop-up window right now, but you would go back to your degree evaluation and where it says with attribute, it's a hyperlink, and that brings up that pop-up window that I showed you earlier, and it gives the list of
I thought you
classes
said that because I'm moving the show to it.
that could satisfy the scientific perspectives requirement. And so if your advisor sort of left it open, like if you're a communication major, for example, and you know, they just want you to take whatever science is most satisfying for you, just read the descriptions. And there's maybe one or two that have prerequisites of being in certain majors, but there's a lot of different kinds of science courses. And, you know, this is where you have the freedom to sculpt your degree the way is most satisfying for you. So read through the descriptions and say like, hey, that sounds kind of interesting, like, you know, a geology class, like I'm interested in learning about rocks and minerals, for example. And so you could read about that and then decide to maybe, you know, register for that, or astronomy or environmental sustainability or biology. There's a lot of different choices. Chemistry of cuisine is one. And so this is where you're going to have the opportunity to really get creative and really, you know, find classes that are very satisfying to you. Hope that helps. And I'm going to go over to Steph now.
Okay, so I am just going to pull up my information. So I am going to share with you kind of now you've met with your advisor, you know what registration day and time, you've looked at your degree works, but now you need to really look up the classes. So I want you to, if you're doing this on a second screen or you're doing this on your phone, I wouldn't advise you to do it on your phone, just to kind of my PSA here, because it is really hard to register and look up classes on your phone. The system is just not like created with enough room on an iPhone and stuff like that. An iPad will do, or a laptop or a PC, but you might have a little bit of trouble looking it up otherwise. So once you're on the student tab here, you're going to scroll down a little to the My Registration section. And I have a couple of things I want to point out with the My Registration section, just because we're here. Just so you can get acquainted with the links real quick, this My Registration Status and Permits, just a little PSA on this. If you ever can't find your PIN number, you can find it in the My Registration Status and Permit section. You'll also be able to see if you have any holds and if you have any permits available. The next thing I do want to talk about is a course repeat request. Some of you have either taken a class that you withdrew from or did not pass with an acceptable grade, and you need to take the class over for a bunch of different reasons. And this is something that before you do this, you want to definitely talk with your academic advisor about. And you may have heard this from your academic advisor, but you need to do a course repeat request. So if you were to try and register for a class that you've already taken or need to repeat, the system's going to say error and that you're repeating a class. So the system kind of doesn't understand that you didn't pass it or that you withdrew from it. It just sees that it was once on your transcript and it's there right now. So in order to be able to register for it, you want to do a course repeat request. When you click on that course repeat request, it's going to come up with all the classes that are eligible to be repeated. And then it's going to come up with so you're going to pick the class you want to repeat. Thing to remember is you do not need to repeat the class with the same professor or the same time or day. You just need to make sure you're repeating the class. So if you had a situation where you weren't super fond of the professor or the time and day didn't work out, you can repeat somewhere with a different class, but it has to be the same class name. You would process the repeat request, and Emily will give you some hints and tips about that later. And you would then have to go and register for the class. So remember, if you're doing a repeat request, you're not actually registering. You still have to go in and register after. But moving on to look up course offerings, here is when you can take your schedule planning even further. You can take the classes that you've discussed with your academic advisor, and then you can now look at the times available to you. So we're going to put in here fall 2021, and you want to make sure you're putting in the right semester because this does default sometimes to a semester ahead, and then click continue. And you do not need a PIN to look up course offerings. Sometimes I have students say, well, I don't have my PIN. You don't need that for look up course offerings. So let's just say we want to look up a general class. I'm going to show you two different classes, and trust me, I have a reason. I'm going to put in psychology. So a lot of times when you work with your advisor, they'll give you the subject code and the subject course number. I know when I write mine, I usually write subject code, subject course number, and then the actual name. Everybody's a little different. And then I'm going to put in 1100 because that's the class we're looking for, which is the intro to psychology. We're going to do search. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you're going to see a bunch of information here. We're going to give you a rough draft, a schedule A and B, and I'll show you that a little bit later, where you can put this information in. But I want to talk to you about the really important parts of this. So this is why you shouldn't use your phone. You see how everything's condensed here? You want to open up things. You can open up things here. You can open up meeting times like this. So you can kind of play with it. When you're writing down your schedule for the first time, you want to write down the name of the course number, the course section, and then this really important number here, the course CRN. So this was a question we got the Tuesday that we held this before, is why is section and CRN important? Are they related? Are they the same? They are related. The section number tells us 1, 3, 4. This is going to tell us who's teaching it, what time of the day it is. The CRN is it's the specific code for the banner system to register for the class. So when you're dealing with permits or anything like that, you want to be able to give your professor or your chair that you're asking for a permit the CRN. The other thing you want to look at is day and time. So it'll list out the type of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. to 9:50. When it starts, but really important, and I'm just moving everything over here, is you want to make sure you're on the right campus. So if it's on a campus, like you'll see main campus here, but this will tell you if you're on Valley or Main sometimes. For anybody who's joining us that may be in sports management or marketing or any type of business or any type of education, your classes could be over on Valley Road. So you don't want to get into a situation where you're going from Valley to Main, Valley to Main, Valley to Main, because you're constantly leaving early and then getting there late. So you just want to be kind of aware of that. And then if you make this box smaller, you're going to see over here a couple of things. You're going to see attribute, and I'm going to make everything smaller just so it fits on the screen. You're going to see attribute over here. Attribute's really important because it's going to tell you what type of class. Now, I brought this class up because this is a particular class where you're going to see these freshman cohort sections. Freshman cohort means that the class is most seats are being held, you'll see here, for freshmen. If you want to register as a continuing student, which all of you are today here, you would need to waitlist for this class to get into it. And Emily's going to show you this in a little bit. But this class here is not a freshman cohort. You would be able to register for it. So that you want to make sure you're looking at that and you're aware of the different class styles. I'm going to do a search again and show you some other options for class styles. So let's say we want to look at a marketing 2400 class, 2100. And you'll see here, the attribute says face-to-face or hybrid course section or asynchronous online evening section. So a lot of people, I know somebody had asked in the chat before, are there going to be face-to-face classes? Are they going to be online? We're really trying to move forward back to a face-to-face type of education. There will be hybrid classes available in limited numbers. And we've always had online classes in limited numbers too. So you can take a look and see what works best for you. But they would be there. And then again, I'll show you with the meeting times, what I was talking about. See, this says Valley Road. So you just want to make sure that you're timing yourself. And then my last tip and trick is actually one that Debbie showed me that I did not know about for a while. And I've been using it for the last couple of years, was this advanced search tool. This is a great tool for those who are asking, how do I find a UCC4 or how do I find a science? So if you go down to here where it says attribute and you click on it, if you scroll all the way down, you're going to start seeing things like, and I'm scrolling all the way down to UCCs. So what personal well-being, historical perspectives, ways of knowing, ways of know science. So if you want to click on ways of know science and you want to see what your science options are, you click on that, you scroll down and you hit search. So now this is going to come up with all the classes that fulfill that UCC requirement in science. There is one caveat though. The caveat is just because you see it here doesn't mean you can personally take it. Some of these classes do have prerequisites. Some of them are major restricted. Some of them are status, so like sophomore, junior, senior restricted, and it will tell you that. And if you're ever not sure what you're looking at, you can click on it and you can see the information. You can see restrictions. You can see enrollment wait list. You can see co-requisite, prerequisite. The only thing I will tell you, and I think I forgot to mention this in my previous presentation, is don't always bank on the professor. Professors can change, room numbers can change. Usually times and dates don't change, and usually ways of delivering it don't change, but the professors could change and the room number and room location could change. So you always want to be checking your schedule once you get it, like the first week of classes, to make sure you're going to the right room. So those kind of things can update. And I see there's a bunch of chat questions, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and see if we can answer some of those.
Yeah, I've been trying to answer. There's a lot, and I've been trying to answer them, but we'll be answering them as we go through, but also there'll be time at the end.
Yeah, I hope I didn't confuse everybody, and that's why you're asking a ton of questions. So I'll go through those. I stopped sharing though. I'll go through those and see if I can answer some of them to get us through.
Okay, and so now we're going to, thank you, Steph. That was step 5. And now, without further ado, should we have a drum roll? We're going to be doing step 6, the moment you've all been waiting for, the actual registration demonstration. So now you've successfully prepared to register the steps 1 through 5. And believe it or not, although this might be the step that you all came to this workshop for, this is probably going to end up, because you're so prepared now, the quickest step of them all. So I'm going to have Emily Plaskow from the Registrar's Office share with us how exactly to register now.
Okay, guys, I am going to share my screen. Okay, so you guys should be seeing up in WP Connect in your Students tab. So you're going to want to go to My Registration and Add Drop Courses. And it's all the same interface that Stephanie just showed you with browsing just to look at courses. This is going to pop up. This is just a confirmation of your billing statement. And then you'll select the term, and we're looking at fall 2021. You're going to be prompted for that PIN that your advisor gave you. And that's why it's so important to meet with your advisor or reach out to them prior to registration, which is next week. So you're going to enter that PIN. And then, like I said, it looks just like how Stephanie was showing you. So you can either look up courses by subject and course number, or if you have that CRN number already written down, you can just enter those CRN numbers. But I'm going to first show you how to just look up a course, which most all of you should have taken this course already, but I want to show you for purposes of waitlist. Like Debbie and Stephanie were mentioning, there are most of the 1,000 level courses are held for freshmen at this point, and we haven't begun to register them yet. So see, like we're using all of the seats for these English courses. So if, for instance, you needed to repeat it, you would need to wait until we're done registering all of the freshmen. But I'm going to show you for purposes of, why is my screen not? Sorry, my screen's like being silly. Well, I'm just gonna show you this. So the add button's over here. For some reason, I'm not able to manipulate. And so then you would see on the lower part of the screen, a little calendar that shows you where this is being slotted in for you. And then it would say pending. So I'm not registered in this course yet. It's pending until I select what I want to do with it. Do I want to register for it? Do I want to wait list it? I can't register for it because it's full. So I'm going to try and waitlist it. And then I'm going to press submit. And so now I'm on the wait list. And so what that means is if someone who is registered in the course drops, and then you're on the top of the wait list, say there's 5 people, you're number 1, you'll get an email from my office, the registrar's office, informing you that a seat's available for you. You'll then have 48 hours from the time that you get that email to claim your seat. So then you would come back into AdDrop and you would see that course here as waitlisted. And you would see an option for web register and you would select that and you would submit. So now you're in the course at that point. So that's waitlisting. So now I'm going to show you just doing an advanced search in case you, so say I looked up English before, and now I want to do an advanced search for another class because I want to find a UCC and I want to see what those options are. Make sure that you delete what you had here or it's not going to work properly. And I'm going to go into an advanced search. I'm going to scroll down to that attribute section. And I'm going to look for a diversity and justice class. And then all of my options come up here. And you know, you can go arrow across and there's 7 pages here. So I'm going to choose, let's see. I'm going to choose an online of language matters. And again, you can see, are there prerequisites? All this mess means before you take a diversity and justice, you need to take at least 15 credits in areas 1 through 3 on your UCC. And I think our test student has done that. And again, here's these attributes. This is not only is it diversity and justice, it will cover writing intensive and it's an asynchronous online course. And I want to add it. And when I looked at it also, there were 21 seats available of 25. I want to register, web register, submit. I'm registered in that class now. And just real quickly, then I'll show you how we can do an adding of just a CRN. You've pre-picked out your CRN and I'm going to just enter it right here. So I picked, so it just, you don't even see the course information. It automatically goes into your summary and that's macro. And again, it's pending. So let's see if it's open and it doesn't conflict with anything. And I'm registered. Now, sometimes when you're registering for courses, let me just give you an example. I think that we'll have a time conflict with this one. Apparently not. Okay, sometimes you will get a time conflict where whatever you figured out, like it was going to have 2 courses were going to intersect with each other times and days, and it'll let you know. You won't be able to register and you'll need to make another selection. You can also get a prerequisite error. You may get something that's a field of study restriction, meaning that maybe it's your minor, you're taking a minor for that subject field and it's required for your minor, but it's not your major. So you're going to have to reach out to the academic department and your advisor can give you guidance on that to get authorization to register for that course. And then once you do get that authorization, then you do have to go back in and register. I seem to remember on Tuesday, was there anything else that I did not cover in the screen, Debbie? Before I leave it, I'm going to show repeats next.
No, I think that you ended by showing us where you see your schedule posted once you're done doing this.
Okay.
I think that's where we ended it.
So then it's not up here yet, but if I refreshed, if I logged out and logged back in, the schedule would appear up here as your current schedule. It would not appear in DegreeWorks yet. It would take about 24 hours for it to appear there.
We also mentioned other attributes that might be limiting, like the
Oh, right. So one of the common ones that I talked about on Tuesday is sometimes you'll see, just like there's that freshman cohort attribute, there's certain classes like that that are for specialized groups. One of them is we have a program in connection with Mercer County College. And that's a really easy one to identify because it's specific section numbers. So I'll just show you how it would appear. There's my Mercer section. Okay, so in the attribute section here, it says that it's for Mercer County Community College. And this specific course is a section 88. All section 88, 89, 78, 79 are for Mercer. So you know that you would not be able to register for that course. And so I think that's it for this portion. And I just want to run through really quick for repeats. So for the repeat request, it's right below add drop courses in WP Connect. And I can't have access to it with this student, but what would happen is all the courses that you are eligible to repeat would pop up with courses that are being offered for a specific semester. So right now you can still be registering for summer, but you need to speak with your advisor about that. But for fall, they would pop up, for winter as well, I believe. And then you need to pay attention to what you select there. So if you say, oh, there's a Tuesday, Thursday of 2 to 3:15 of English 1500, I know I need to repeat that. Let me select that one. But then by the time you go and register for it, it's closed. So when you're in here, you want to make sure that you're just selecting all of them. That's what I recommend. Click all of the boxes so that you get repeat authorizations for every single one that's being offered. And then when you go, you should just a few minutes later, because it's all automated now, you should be getting an email from Registrar that says that you've been given the authorization. And then you can go back into add drop and you can just use the CRN option to register at that point. And that's repeats. I think I covered everything here. Debbie, was there anything else you wanted to
No, that was very comprehensive. Thank you. That was a terrific registration demonstration you just did, Emily.
Okay.
We have a lot of questions in the chat, but the questions aren't really about the demonstration. So I think that you did a very thorough job. Just to refresh, you are going to receive this 6-step worksheet. And then if you notice at the end of the worksheet, if you're still stuck, we have even more places that you could go for information with a very comprehensive FAQ list with the most common burning questions about registration right on the registrar site, as well as more video tutorials than what we're showing now. But we have a few more minutes. If there are any more questions, if you want to unmute or type in the chat, we are ready to answer all your questions. There is, yes, we are recording this meeting and we will be sending out the recording. We also did record attendance for this. As long as you use your William Patterson account, we should be able to see who attended. If you logged in with something else, it might be a little bit more difficult for us to identify you.
I logged in with something else. Should I tell you my name or?
So I think if you type it in the chat, we should get a record of that, correct, Steph?
Yes, we will.
It's more techie than me. Okay.
No, we'll have a record. Yeah.
What will happen if we make a mistake? while we are registering? What will be if the consequence, can we remove the sub or the course itself?
Yes, you will be able to remove the courses. The only thing I will say here is if, say it's your first course that you're registering for, you will not be able to drop to 0 credits. So you want to add whatever your next course is and then drop that course and, you know, put whatever in its place.
Is there any consequence of dropping courses?
As long as you're making these changes before certain deadlines. I think someone before had asked how long do we have to register? And typically it's about a week into the semester. So if the fall starts August 24th, you would have that week to still be making adjustments, but you don't want to wait to register. You want to register as soon as you can. And then along the way, if you need to make adjustments, you can.
A lot of students ask us if there's a fee to change your schedule once you've already registered, and the answer to that is no. There is no late registration fee. If you have already registered and you are changing around your schedule, you won't be charged anything to do that. Any other questions?
We had
There's
a lot in the chat, but we
Yeah.
answered most of them.
A lot of students want to know if we're sending the video. We are
Yeah.
going to send it.
We
to
do have
everybody
one in
whose
the
email
chat.
address that we have.
It says, let's say I failed at English 1500 or withdrew from it. Can I register to take it in the winter? If it's available, yes, you can. You do want to be very careful with the winter. We're not registering for winter right now, not yet. But that's something you can discuss with your advisor about whether that would be the right choice for you, whether it's offered or not. Winter is very, very limited. Winter is an accelerated session. So if it's a situation where a student might have been struggling in a class for some reason, we usually don't advise that you take it in that accelerated of a version of the class, but definitely discuss that with your advisor. It is technically an option, but it may not be the option that's best for you.
And I just wanted to jump in. If you withdrew, you would be able to do that. But if, say, you feel like you're not doing well, you may not pass the class and you're thinking of repeating it, if the grade is not in, you'll need to have your professor send the registrar's office an email just confirming that you're not going to pass.
And your advisor can help you with that too if you're having a question. Somebody is asking, do I have to pay for, or the FAFSA covers it? So that's a great question. If you are repeating for the first or second time, I believe, they will typically cover, your FAFSA will typically cover that, depending on your aid package. Obviously, everybody's aid package is different. I believe it's the third attempt, or is it more than the third attempt? I think it's the third attempt of repeating. So that would be your technically your fourth attempt. They will not pay for that. But I will still double check for you in financial aid, but typically they allow you to take the class 3 times. So the first original attempt and then 2 repeats. And then on the third repeat, which would be your fourth attempt, they will not pay for that. And you would have to pay out of pocket for that specific class.
About repeating, there is a university course repeat policy that the maximum amount of repeats you can use is 5 throughout your entire time at William Patterson. Unless anything has changed with that, I believe that's still in effect.
I have a question. I don't know if that is possible, but no, I don't know if it also belongs to this department. But if I want to take 3 classes register for 3 classes as a partial full-time in the fall, and I want to take 2 classes that I could be taking, say, accomplish the 12, 15 credits for this summer. Can I do that? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, you may want to look at the financial cost of that, because like tuition's a flat rate from 12 to 19 credits in a fall or spring semester. So it would cost the same for you to take 15 to 18 credits in a fall semester as it would taking, like you mentioned, 6 or 9 credits. But yes, you are allowed to take at an extra cost, usually up to 12 to 13 credits over the summer, and then up to 19 credits in a fall or spring semester.
No, I was mentioning if I can take 9 on the fall and adjust the 15 credits left over, like whatever is left from the 9 in the summer. So I can accomplish the 15 in the whole entire total of the summer and the fall semester.
For financial aid purposes, or just, are you allowed to take that many?
I guess both.
So financial aid is usually the year before, the fall and spring, and then the summer is attached to the year before. But yeah, you could take up to 4 classes in the summer, and then, you know, you just have to look at your own financial aid situation and your own award to determine that. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question correctly. Does anyone else have a take on that?
I would suggest speaking directly with financial aid and, you know, see what they say to you, because they'll be able to let you know if that's possible, like what kind of impact that would have on you, what you could possibly be paying out of pocket.
Because I'm assuming that if it's well, it has to do with financial aid, because I'm assuming that if it's not the 12 credits, it's not really a full-time.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's some really good questions coming in the chat. One was on course offerings, if there's a time shown like 12:30 to 1:45, for example, but it also says asynchronous, what does that mean?
Do you want me to answer it?
I was gonna leave it. I was opening it up for anybody that wants to answer it.
Oh, well, let's see if anybody knows. Let's see if any of the students know. Probably not.
Typically a hybrid class, so it might meet, there's different configurations of it, okay? So it's a different world we live in now, so there's different configurations of it, but one would be, it might meet like once a week on Monday from 12:30 to 1:45, but then on Wednesday, it's asynchronous online, or so it's not really Wednesday, because synchronous would mean that it meets at 12:30 on Wednesday. Asynchronous means that the other portion of that week's work is going to be on your time before the next Monday. I hope that makes sense. It's not in live time. It might be message boards, it might be assignments, it might be videos that you watch. So a large portion of that class is asynchronous, but the call is 2 to 1:45. What did I miss?
Somebody was asking.
Steph?
Somebody was asking about credits. You know, they had been told by their advisor that they should take more than 4 classes because that would be 12 credits. And I was saying that a good rule of thumb would be 15 to 17 because 12 credits is the minimum. It gives you a nice buffer, but that it's different really for everybody. Discuss with your advisor what your goals are. What some people want to be full-time, some people need to be part-time. Some people have 1 semester where they just really need to take online more than they need to take in person. Everybody's goal is different. And obviously the amount of credits you take is going to differ semester to semester or based on your financial need or your financial aid package. So it's a hard question to answer. Talk to your advisor and talk to them about what your goals and needs are. We have a couple more questions. Oh, there's so many questions. Let's see what else. I'm just going, they're all coming in so fast, I can't see them.
I know, I'm trying to scroll through and see if I don't think we missed any.
I thought one
Does anyone want to unmute if we missed somebody? I think we got them all. Some of them we answered in the chat as we went through, so
yeah, somebody did just ask quickly.
You're welcome. A lot of us.
Yeah, somebody just asked about the financial aid minimum. It's different for everybody. Some people need to be full-time, which is 12 credits. Some people do not need to be full-time. Anything more than 6 credits is above part-time. Anything below 6 credits is below full-time. Speak with your advisor and we will help you speak with a financial aid advisor and we will come to and we'll find out your specific aid package requirement.
Okay, well, we're going to type our own email addresses in the chat if you need to reach out to us or want to reach out to us for any other general questions. But of course, also reach out to your academic advisor. Keep in mind the advisors are quite busy in the next week because registration's in full swing right now. So give them a little time to answer your email. The best way to advisors mainline. We have an email address called asktheadvisor@wponj.edu. And please don't forget that the registrar site also has a great FAQ section to help you. So you're not alone. There's a lot of students who are concerned about advisement. It's going to be like riding a bike. Once you do it once, you're going to be coaching it, and hopefully not taking our jobs, but coaching it. You'll get to that.
And you guys did see, I typed it into the chat.
Thank you so much for attending today.
Oh, sorry. No, sorry. I typed it into chat. Please follow our Instagram too. The Instagram also has great information about advisement, gives you lots of tips and tricks. We'll be, sending out information about advisement, dates and stuff like that.
And most of all, enjoy today's beautiful weather.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Have a great day.
It was very informative, very appreciative.
Thank you.
Thank you.